Just start the recording anywhere.
Okay. Can you still hear me okay from the assistants?
I don't know. Okay. Can you grab that camera?
The DeJur.
Yeah, the DeJur.
Bon DeJur.
Soup DeJur. So, this is very cheap for a medium format camera.
Yes, it was $30.
$30, yeah.
Yeah.
And it did not work. It was really gummed up and jammed and bound. But now it does work. It takes photos, and that's cool.
Yeah, I know how to spot a cubic zirconium in the rough, you know?
This is gonna take a bit. This is gonna take a little. We're not doing like a morning radio show here. So, thrift stores. We go thrifting very regularly. Like, of the pastimes that we share, going and getting coffee, going to thrift stores.
I think we view thrifting, though, through different lenses. Even though it's a shared activity that we use, oftentimes you view thrifting as more of a treasure hunt. And there's some overlap with how I view thrifting in that way as well. But I view thrifting as an opportunity to get things that I otherwise would need or want in a more scavenging kind of setting. I like to acquire things that we need for the house, or like things I need for my crafting and stuff like that at the thrift, because it's for like a better price and it's not contributing to like waste cycle. And like the other angle of thrifting is that you can find like genuine treasures that like you can't get at a normal like store, or would be more expensive on the internet, and so it makes those kind of things more accessible because you can find what you want with a little bit of extra effort and scavenging.
And I would say, I think the main difference is we have different categorizations for things we want and need.
Mm-hmm.
So you look for stuff that aids in your crafting. That's one of your categories. You look for stuff to knit with, sew with, make things out of. I look for cameras and camera gear a lot, which aids my hobby of photography. But I think that the availability of those two categories of things at your average thrift store is pretty wildly different. Like, it's much more up to chance for like a good camera find than finding yarn. It's more of a sure thing you're gonna find sewing patterns and
you can
crochet
kind of
needles
make
and stuff.
what you want out of what you're finding for what
Right.
I thrift for. And so then you have to go through like a process of like, is this worth it? Is this like gonna actually be helpful, or is it just gonna be another thing that I'm buying and consuming? Whereas when you come over a camera, you can say, you know, like, is this something I want to shoot on? And like, it's not necessarily as much like.
Yeah. So
when you find something.
when I find a camera, I think about like, is it a good quality item? Is it in usable condition? And also, I think because of the nature of old cameras, that's kind of why I like antique stores more than you do.
Yeah, because I look at antique stores and I think, wow, with a little bit of my own effort, I could just thrift this stuff and it'd be much cheaper. I don't mind if it takes me a long time to find that thing.
Sure.
Whereas an antique store, part of the benefit is that somebody's already done that work for you.
Yeah. An antique store is where they've kind of filtered out all of the
half-burned candles and lotions of the thrift store.
Lotions and dirty Tupperwares and company screen printed t-shirts and coffee mugs. And it's kind of just like a filtered down, more concentrated version of the specific things I hope to find at a thrift store. So my odds of finding something that I can use that I'm looking for are higher at an antique store, but the price is going to be higher because they've done the work of putting it all in one place.
Yeah, and I think the antique stores also put a lot of effort into kind of tailoring their selection to what they know people want. And so the way that you view, like, you get more benefit from the antique stores because they've already kind of gone through tailored, you already are meeting your criteria of this probably being a more quality item that works, as opposed to in the thrift where it's kind of like, I may or may not find a camera and then it may or may not work. Whereas when I see antique stores, I see a bunch of stuff I've kind of seen before because it's that stuff that's picked and tailored to what people might be more interested in. And so I'm less likely to find something that I absolutely don't know what it does, or that's like really specifically something that I want, because part of what I'm thrifting for is the hunt, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it does, like, the hunt and the chance of it does feel really good about thrifting, because it's less common that I'll find something that fits my criteria at a thrift store. Mm-hmm. But when I do, it's usually priced cheaper, and it's occasionally in questionable condition.
There's some things I know that, like, no matter how good the thrift guides are to me, I just am not likely to find at the thrift, though.
Yeah.
And that's where antique's nice. Like, I really want some of those lucite grapes, and I know I'm never going to find those in the thrift.
No, you're not.
Like, those are too cool for the thrift. I rarely even see them at antique stores. So...
Yeah, and there are cameras that I know I will... Like, the odds of me finding them at a Goodwill are so incredibly...
Yeah, like, if you were to find a Leica at the thrift, it would be because somebody got hit upside the head before they donated it, and then the person pricing it also got knocked out before they put it on the
Or somebody, like, inherited it and did zero research and just donated a bunch of stuff.
Like, they inherited, then died, and then...
Yeah, basically, like, the supply chain of used goods has to align perfectly with the stars and planets to get a Leica into my hands for an incredible bargain. But also, I haven't even found a single Leica at any of the antique stores that I've been to.
No.
But I'm also not sure I really want one. Like, it'd be cool, but I'm not going to pay Leica price for a Leica.
And I think that aligns with part of how we consume secondhand goods. Like, we kind of consume them like little trash people who like little trash things, and like the name of it doesn't matter as much as the use case.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's more hype surrounding, I found this in a bucket of literal garbage for an incredible discount price, and I'm using it for what I want to use. Like,
yeah.
The most expensive camera I have was $75, and it came with a lens that's worth $90 to $120 on its own, so that's cool. But, like, none of the camera gear I have is particularly rare or overly valuable. It's just, I paid a lot less than what it would be if I got it on eBay or from KEH or...
And I think that does lend itself to more breadth and less specificity, because if you wanted something specifically, you would go on eBay and order that single thing.
Yes.
Whereas when you're scavenging like we are at the thrift, you get a little bit more stuff because you find the thing that you are looking for and you're like, ooh, I gotta get this.
Right.
Whereas maybe if you were on eBay, you would only get like one specific thing.
For sure.
Limited by price and also what's presented to you.
Yeah, and if I'm looking for a specific camera on eBay, I'm going to search it and get a bunch of different condition and price of that same item.
Yeah, you're not going to be exposed to as many different goods.
And I don't feel like, oh, I'm missing out if I don't buy every good deal version of this item. But if I see a camera in a thrift store that I haven't really considered or haven't been specifically looking for, I still kind of feel like, ooh, it's a good deal. I should probably buy it.
Pick it up.
And then I end up with too many cameras that I don't need.
And I
Hence
think that
the few cameras in my garage that are broken.
I think that's part of the flip with thrifting, is that you see what you want and you're like, it's a good deal, I should pick it up because when am I going to see this next?
Right.
And it kind of pulls away from like getting what you're specifically looking for. But I also don't think that that's too far off of our like goals. Like we don't really have a problem with having a bunch of random shit.
That's true. I do have cameras and some camera gear that I don't need or use. But selling that and getting money back out of it is more difficult because the stuff that is valuable and would sell on eBay is the stuff that I bought and actually use and want to keep.
No, I think that we're far-fetched from ever being minimalists, but I think that is something that we've kind of run through this cycle and tried to do in a more sustainable way. And kind of running through these secondhand channels is still better than getting like all of our things from primary source.
Yeah.
Landscape. Jesus Christ. Muting all of this and doing a voiceover later.
Bro.
What?
Oh, it goes top to bottom instead of side to side.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. So all of the photos that it takes are inherently like going to be portraits.
Unless I rotate the camera sideways.
Yeah. We could make a nice sticker with the sticker machine for you.
Yeah.
Wow, the picture quality on my phone is really good.
Yes, it is.
It's a good videography phone.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now I got my composition. You gotta move. Got my composition.
What nice words for your wife.
Thank you. ISO to 100. And we can go 125th. Let's go for 125th. 6.3. So now set my aperture about 6.3. 5.6 for good measure.
Gooses.
And picture taken. Maybe. We could advance 1 1/4 rotations.
I think this would be a cool shot too. And it'd be a cool horizontal shot because you got these two sister trees. And then you can see the other trees in the background, in the fog.
Actually, back up a sec.
Is it cool with the trees on either side?
Yes.
You want to get the camera so you can show the video what it looks like?
Sure.
So if it's 1.25 rotations, how many frames do you think you're going to get on this one?
No idea. All right.